This video is going to be on the topic of spiritual warfare, and I want to begin with one of the greatest examples that we can have on it, but to be more specific on what type of spiritual warfare I'm talking about. It's, you saw it in the title. It's on the topic of when people underestimate you, misunderstand you, or make wrong assumptions or quick assumptions. Wrong assumptions are often quick assumptions, or, stuff like that. People tend to do if they are, not always intentionally, but out of ignorance, or just out of the level of understanding and capacity they have. And the thing about it is that you can actually use this as if you see this as only a bad thing. I want to show you the perspective of how this thing is actually beneficial or serves as an advantage or a favor, if it's against you. And when people fail to do what I'm about to say, that when they fail to let someone underestimate them, or even judging them or wrongly accusing them, and if they go on an reactive mode, like explaining themselves or defending themselves, or taking it personal, especially if it's, I don't know about you, but I tend to find it hard to not take something personal if it's coming from my closest. Probably most people are like that. It's easier for someone like a relative or friend, or any member of your family, or someone you love and care, to affect you, because you care also about their opinion. But if you just let them make those wrong assumptions or misunderstandings, or whatever they do, that's, first of all, that's their choice, and your choice is how you will react. And if you just let them do it without involving your ego to defend yourself, or even take it personal, what this actually is advantage for you. Because whenever someone underestimates another, or misjudges, or makes any wrong assumptions, they're actually letting that person with hidden cards, or how to say it, not that they are hiding their cards, but it leaves room for surprises, and when they find out that they were wrong, it will be a surprise because they have underestimated you. Or I'm thinking of an example right now of, let's say I'm a billionaire and I walk into a store with a five, whatever your currency is, $5, euros, or whatever, t-shirt, and I live in a rent place, and I drive a regular car, and I mean, I don't show that I'm a billionaire, and people wouldn't suspect that I'm a billionaire because I don't show it. This leaves room for the billionaire to have a normal life without unnecessary people, like attaching to them because of their money. Or, if you are a star, some paparazzi trying to capture your going to the market, and you're just able to live like a normal person, doing your thing, or staying in your own lane, minding your business, while when you are, not in every case ready, if it's something like a project, but let's say if when you're ready and you actually do something and people see that they have underestimated you, it came like it comes like a surprise, but it's not because of you or because you are hiding something, or it's because of them. So the advantage is the time, the peace, and the space you have to do your own thing. And I started this video with one is inspiring act of from the Bible. And the Bible is full of examples of wrong assumptions, like Job's friend who assumed that his suffering is because of wrongdoings or not being righteous, while he was righteous, and that wasn't the reason. Or even Jesus, when they said that nothing good can come from Nazareth. But the example I want to talk about is different. It's about Archangel Michael, when he was fighting over the body of Moses with Satan. And, the opposition uses legal or illegal terms when they are fighting. But the Kingdom of God warriors, they only use legal tactics. And when they were fighting over the body of Moses, Satan tried to use legal terms because there was legal terms. If they weren't legal terms, he will use illegal. It's it's a thing he does. So he tried to use the legal terms of claiming ownership over his body because of where Moses broke the law, And that meant for him that he belonged to him because he didn't obey the law. And that means legally that he belongs to Satan's kingdom. And Michael, the archangel, he said something that is very, you can learn a lot from this. You can meditate on this and learn even more what I'm about to say. He said, God rebuke you, Satan, because the legal act of that is not taking matters into your own hands, but leaving it to God to do the justice. By doing so, you are actually doing the thing that gains you the victory, because God deals with the victory, and you have a specific task and a mission, and you cannot bypass the boundaries of your legal rights. So the enemy may try to tempt you to bypass them. One of the most common thing, vengeance or eye for an eye is a real temptation for humans to fight back, to defend. But in the kingdom of God, the fight works very different, and you probably know this. And this example of the Archangel Michael is that, if Satan, Satan thought that this would work. That's why he used it, because the Archangel is a very, very powerful being. He is the archistratic of the army. He leads the army of God. Me personally, I wonder how he didn't knew that this won't work. But let's say he did think, he tried it, and it didn't work. And this example is showing you a lot on this topic when they underestimate you, make wrong assumptions, or that's not necessarily something someone does on purpose, but it reveals their level of understanding, because it's most likely because they don't have the capacity to understand something beyond what they have capacity for. So when they don't get it, they make wrong assumptions because they have to make something out of it. The brain has to decide something in order to put it in a box and leave it there to rest. So if you are put in a box, just rest in that box. You're not really in that box, but that's what happens. And not having that capacity, it means that you are the person who knows better, which means that you have a greater responsibility that the person who doesn't know better, and it's in ignorance. And if you go with illegal terms against them, you have got even worse than them, in a sense, because you know better. Your level is not the same. And when someone knows better and doesn't do better, it's more bad than someone acting out of ignorance. Now, probably there are people who know better and still choose to treat someone like that. But I'm speaking about the ignorance because this has to be mentioned in order for keeping the legal terms in their place. And I have in my life I have done both. I have failed to do that in practice, and I also, at least a few times I have failed. I don't know how much, but in most of those times I knew better. And I'm saying that because what I'm speaking about is from practice, and also I have succeeded in resisting that temptation. I don't know how many times, but it seems more. And God's grace will be present if you fail to do that. But if you can do it and you decide not to do it, you are just lowering that level you have gained. And that itself is a consequence that it's unnecessary, because you have worked so much to overcome yourself. And and if you how to say it, if you have a problem with letting them think what they want to think about you, or assume whatever, or judge by surface things, if you have a problem with that, maybe you should look at your ego in terms of maybe you have I don't know, I'm getting a hard time with the words, but probably a need for some sort of recognition, or validation, or yeah, this sounds like what I'm trying to say. But yeah, in the kingdom of God, and once you are born again, you are immediately a warrior of Christ. It's useful for you to learn from your experiences, and grow, and don't stay on one level even if you fail. To apply that, learn from that, and thank God for His grace to not have the consequences you deserve for this, because this is it has consequences. But just because you don't get the consequences is only because of God's grace, which is huge. And I have another example for you to get their perspective of ignorance. If just like police officer, the best police officer is the one who can think like the criminal. So for me, that in my life, that meant I didn't know anything about spiritual warfare before, and evil tactics, and still to this day there are things I don't know just because my mind doesn't work that way, and my heart. So everything I've learned is from the battlefield. But if you have this in your mind, to think like that, you can understand it better. But if you don't have that perspective, you still can learn, from that experience. And the people that misjudge you and, stuff like that, their capacity is not on that level to understand what it's like to be a warrior of God, what it's like to follow God, really to follow God, not just read the Bible or say you are a follower of Christ, and they just don't realize that that's your life and even beyond your life. And because if you are a follower of Christ, are you going to make fast assumptions, misjudge someone, or judge someone? Because if you do, you haven't actually learned that much. It can happen, but you can catch the thought and be like, I don't know this. Only God knows what's in their heart. Only God knows what's going on in their life. Only God knows why they are doing this. Only God knows why. And you're not just being fast to do that. And of course, many examples, like not only surface level judgment, even if someone, because I've seen the last temptation I had to make a fast assumption was I've seen a warrior of Christ who acted a little out of character, and I was like, what? And before any thought even came, I was like, okay, that's not my business, God knows. So, and I have also in my past failed, probably not with the same thing, but I have failed to apply the principles of the kingdom of God and how to fight or how to act, or I have failed a lot. So seeing another person failing and being very quick to register that you are in kind of surprised because this person showed you actually that he's on a very high level, and that's what it's making the surprise, because when you see someone on a higher level than you, that's why you're getting surprised to witness something like that. And but this proves that we are all human and we may all fall on one place or another, and instead of pointing fingers or something. That's not even close to me like an idea, but I was more so in a wonder how, when that person is so advanced, not to, you know, I mean, I literally mean that person is very capable and showed a lot of moves on the battlefield. And, you know, grace, if you have accepted grace, you also have to give grace. And grace is the thing also that empowers every one of us. And we shouldn't abuse it or take it as granted. But we should use the time to, not waste much time in prolonging any lesson or drama, or because time is priceless and the time here on earth is getting really short and Jesus is coming really soon, and it's just if we can be a little more fast in learning in the last days will be nice, because we are capable because of God who lives inside of us, and we should just take that opportunity to participate into whatever He called you to do, and whenever, wherever you are, and whatever you do. And first of all, we are prayer warriors. Prayer is the most powerful thing on the battlefield, and keep up your prayer life on a higher level. And thanks God for every answered prayer and every protection. Thank you for being here. I hope this was useful for you, or inspiring, or encouraging. Just don't be offended if people look at this from the perspective you're actually on and the level you're on, and don't fall into the traps of accusing someone wrongly, because you know better. You actually know better, and I will leave you with this.